What's going on YouTube? I'm Evan and you're watching Cloud9 Aquariums. Today we're going to wrap up the Freshwater Tank Tour series with the 36-gallon Livebearer tank. Now this tank is very similar to a 40 breeder, but it's got a slightly shallower dimension. So it's 36 inches long, 18 inches deep, and 13 inches tall. As you can see, it's a heavily planted tank and very well stocked. The reason we call it the Livebearer tank is because it's pretty much full of live bearers. We've got a lot of swordfish, platies, and guppies in this tank. There's a few other odds and ends in there, but for the majority of them, they're all live bearers. So to start off, let's talk about the equipment. Lighting this tank, we've got the same Beamswork light that I've got on all the other tanks. We've got two different ones this time. They're both full spectrum. These ones are actually 36 inch long, so they work a little bit better for this tank in the specific way that we're running it. The reason we chose to go with two lights running lengthwise in this tank is that we can have two separate lighting zones. So in the front you'll see we've got a lot more lower lighting plants, and then in the back there's going to be more of the higher light plants. For filtration purposes, we're running a Fluval 207 on this tank with a spray bar on the right side, giving me a nice even flow running right to left. Because this canister filter doesn't actually have a heater inside of it, we do have a heater in the tank and it's running in this back corner, but the nice thing is because of the way that the tank is laid out with the driftwood and the plants, you can't see it at all. You may notice there's a common trend of plants between the different tanks that we have, and the reason for that is because the 180 is growing so rapidly that I'm able to take clippings out of there and then spread them throughout the rest of the tanks in the home instead of having to actually go out and purchase more. For substrate in this tank, we are running an Eco Complete. It's the black variety. I do enjoy using it. It's nice and clean, but the one thing I will say is it doesn't grab onto the stem plants as well as sand does. For aquascaping structure, on the left side of the tank you'll notice that we've got a lot of higher plants and a big piece of driftwood, again using the rule of thirds and triangles to help create some weight on that side of the tank. Surrounding that, you'll notice that there are crypts that are running as a nice foreground plant. And then in this front corner right here, you'll see that there's another clump of the Hygrophila angustifolia. And because of the lower light that we're running in the front of the tank, you'll notice it actually grows a lot thicker and bushier than it is in the 180. And then in the back corner behind that, we've got some wisteria starting to grow in. And then to wrap up the plant selection in this tank, we've got a nice chunk of Rotala racrandra in the center, which gives it a nice little red pop. And for the cleanup crew in this tank, we're running some bristlenose plecos, a few cory cats, and some assassin snails to help actually take care of the nuisance snails that came in on a few of the plants. The perks of having a heavily planted tank with live bearers is that a lot of the babies they're going to have will actually survive. And because of that, most of the fish in here at this point are actually second or third generation. Because there's such a good assortment of fancy-tailed guppies, swordtails, platies, and even a few tetras in here, I'm going to take the camera and make a nice montage for you so you can see all the livestock that we've got going on. That about wraps up the 36-gallon Livebearer tank. Whether you're a beginner just getting into the hobby, or possibly even someone who's been in for 20 plus years, Livebearers are one of those great fish that always deserve a place in your tank. They're so hardy, they have so much personality, and their colors are absolutely striking. So I hope this tank tour gives you some inspiration on a great way to set up a Livebearer tank. And until next time, I'm Evan, and this is Cloud9 Aquariums.